Hello all you beautiful and amazing people. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the show. If you're new to the channel, I'm your host Hyde. This is Hide and Seek Media. Today we're talking about an Army general who said the Afghanistan evacuation was an incredible accomplishment. How we're also going to discuss a U.S. drone strike that kills 10 civilians including 3 children, and a secret meeting between the director of the CIA and the leader of the Taliban, along with some disturbing footage coming out of Afghanistan that I've just come across and we're going to discuss. All of that and more as we get into another chapter of Afghanistan. But before we do that, make sure to click the link down below and subscribe to my locals community. There you can see all of my videos that I've posted, along with some exclusive content only posted to locals. So make sure to click that link down below and subscribe to the community. Now, let's get into the news. Right? So, like I said, we have an Army general who says that despite the strategic failure, that the Afghanistan evacuation was an incredible accomplishment. Okay, so this is a story from News4Jax out of Jacksonville, Florida, I'm going to assume. Right? So, they go on to say, American forces have left Afghanistan. The United States has completed an unmatched evacuation from the country. The evacuation met President Joe Biden's withdrawal deadline, but not without bloodshed, violence, and chaos. So first I'm going to stop right there, because the evacuation did not meet the deadline, because there are still Americans there. When Marine Corps General Frank McKenzie, the commander of the U.S. Central Command, made the announcement Monday afternoon, he also said that not everyone has escaped or evacuated. McKenzie called it a tough situation. A tough situation? Come on, man. You left Americans behind. What kind of Marine are you? Right? You don't leave Americans behind. You don't leave people behind. That's not what this country is about. They go on to say, but I want to emphasize again, simply because we left, that doesn't mean the opportunities for both Americans that are in Afghanistan that want to leave and other Afghans who want to leave, they will not be denied the opportunity. I think our Department of State is going to work that very hard in the days and weeks ahead, he said. Okay, first of all, that is some messed up phrasing there. I think our Department of State. Wouldn't you say, I think our State Department? Right? That's how almost everybody I know, when they talk about the State Department or the Department of State, they call it the State Department. Right? It's the Secretary of State. She is the head of the State Department. Huh. So, I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. DeSalvo made Jacksonville his home after retiring from the Army, where he spent 37 years. Okay, so 37 years, he was a general, and he called this an incredible accomplishment. Now, let's not forget that, okay? Here's his own words. It's an incredible accomplishment that's going to be recognized, DeSalvo said. Once the dust settles, and we look past the strategic failure, which this was, the operational side, the evacuation, is an incredible accomplishment by all those involved. Now, I will say that all of those soldiers and people involved in getting those people out of Afghanistan, yes, you did a good job. Okay? But that is your job. You're supposed to do a good job. You're saving people. Right? As part of the military, that is your job, to rescue and save American lives. And you're supposed to be good at it. We are the most highly trained military on the planet. So yes, you're supposed to be good at it. You should have done a good job. The problem is that we did it backwards. Okay? Strategic failure? Let's get into the strategic failure for a second. Okay? Let's talk about the fact that you evacuated soldiers before civilians, and you gave up Bagram, where you had 2 airfields, a hospital, shops. It's basically like a freaking mini city in the middle of nowhere, where you could have easily helicoptered evacuees from Kabul to Bagram and then flew them out safely. You could have transported them in armored vehicles from Kabul to Bagram and then flew them out safely. But you chose to use the international airport in the middle of the city. And you chose to pull the military out before you did it. Now, come on. That is an epic failure of disastrous proportions. Because as a result, 13 American soldiers lost their lives. They're never coming home, Joe. That blood is on your hands. You people who decided, you 81 million people who voted for this man because you were tired of mean tweets, those soldiers' blood and all those Afghans, 169 Afghans killed. Their blood is on your hands too. All those souls lost. All of that is on your conscience. Not mine, yours. You put that man in office, not me. Let's remember all of that. Beyond the strategic failure, DeSalvo calls all evacuations messy, especially under conditions like military saw in Kabul after the Taliban took over. Well, if we wouldn't have let the Taliban take over, we wouldn't have had those problems. If we would have just mustered up some frickin' nuts, instead of treating them like an actual government, you treat them like the terrorists they are, and you shove an A-10 Warhog up their ass. That's what you do. He also goes on to say, using drone strikes after the ISIS-K suicide bombing was especially important. I think it's also key to show that we do have the very effective over-the-horizon capability, which is very hard to do, but again, we're good at doing it. We'll be doing for a while, he said. Again, here I'm starting to think that a bot wrote this because some of this phrasing is terrible. I think this sends a good deterrent signal to those terrorist networks that we will still aggressively hunt down and kill them with all the means capable. That's right. We will. We will hunt them down and we will kill them with all the means capable. And we'll continue using drones just like he said. And as a result, we will continue killing civilians. When are we going to learn that drone strikes against individual targets like car bombs are not the answer? Okay? That is not the answer. U.S. drone strike kills 10 civilians, including children, in Kabul. U.S. drone strike kills 10 civilians, including children. Sunday strike was in a residential area of Kabul and was targeting a nearby vehicle. It took out an ISIS-K car bomb that posed an imminent danger to Kabul airport per U.S. Central Command. Okay, so they said, hey, we know about this car bomb and it's in a residential area. So what should we do? Well, I got an idea. Let's fire a freaking rocket at it and blow it up. The deceased were from a single extended family and were leaving their car when the strike hit a separate vehicle nearby. The youngest victim was a 2-year-old girl. The brother told CNN that the individuals killed were an ordinary family. We are not ISIS nor Daesh. And this was a family home where my brothers lived with their families. Now, don't tell me that you didn't have enough freaking intelligence to know that there were families and people living in that area. And even if you wanted to wait until somebody's wife or children left the house, you're still firing a freaking rocket at a car bomb in a residential area. What kind of idiot thought that was okay. They go on to report, all the neighbors tried to help and brought water to put out the fire, and I saw that there were 5 or 6 people dead, the neighbors described to CNN. The father of the family and the young boy and their 2 children, they were dead. They were in pieces. Another neighbor told CNN they could possibly have been up to 20 people who perished in the strike, relaying that not much is left of their house and nothing could be recognized. Are you kidding me? Up to 20 people. 10 confirmed, up to 20. This is insane. This is insane. Okay? We should not be using drone strikes in this type of warfare. Especially when it's in residential war areas like that. What kind of idiot thought that was okay? Oh, wait. Every freaking president has thought that was okay, including Trump. So, I hold them all equally accountable. This is a dumb military strategy. Using bombs and rockets to blow up car bombs in a residential area is a dumb strategy. I don't care who you are. It's stupid. The U.S. Central Command on Sunday said that the drone strike took out an Islamic State car bomb that posed an imminent danger to the airport, where at least 169 Afghans and 13 service members were killed last week, marking the deadliest day for the U.S. military members in the country since 2011. Now, these 13 service members, 11 Marines, 1 Navy corpsman, and 1 Army Spec Ops soldier who was assigned to the 8th PSYOP Battalion out of Fort Bragg. So I'm going to diverge here a little bit real quick. There's something up with that guy. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't know what it is. I can't conclusively say he was there for any other purpose than to help Afghans get out of the country. But you don't send PSYOP special ops operators. You don't send PSYOPs guys to evacuate Afghans. Okay? Why he was there? That's my big question right now. Why a special forces PSYOP soldier was at one of the gates at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. Maybe it had something to do with the CIA meeting with the Taliban. Alright, so this story is a week old, right? But I'm just using it as kind of a reference that maybe this guy was working for the CIA. Maybe he was, assigned to 8th PSYOP Battalion, but attached to the CIA in some regard, some shape or fashion. I don't know. But CIA Director William Burns met with the Taliban's de facto leader in Kabul on Monday. Okay, this was last Monday, so last week. A source familiar with the situation said, in what marks the group's highest level encounter with the Biden administration since the fall of the Afghan capital. Okay, so we have members of the Biden administration sitting down with terrorist leaders and negotiating. Do you hear what I'm saying? We have members of our highest government. We have members of our highest government sitting down with terrorist leaders, acknowledging that they're a government, and then negotiating with them. You can't negotiate with terrorists. You can't. you're not going to get anywhere. They go on to say how many people they've evacuated, that they're expecting a decision from the White House on whether they'll leave Afghanistan by the 31st deadline. And a Taliban spokesperson told CBS News that extending operations beyond August 31st would be a violation of the U.S. commitment to withdraw. The response depends on the decision of our leadership, the spokesperson said. So, the response depends on our leadership, right? Yeah, you can't trust the Taliban. I mean, there are reports of them, beating people in the streets. There was somebody, I read a story where there was a woman who was beaten in the streets because she was, she had the Afghani flag draped over her shoulders, like many Americans do when they win, in the Olympics or something of that nature, right? So there have been many people who have been, they're kicking in doors and hunting down interpreters. This isn't a government, okay? This is a terrorist organization that is now taking control of an entire country. That to me is scary, all right? But there was one video that's going viral around the internet right now, and I want to address that because I think it's going viral for the wrong reasons. You have this story here, right? It says, watch. Taliban uses U.S. helicopter to dangle a person in public show. The Taliban quickly repurposed an abandoned aircraft to dangle a person in a public show of dominance on August 30th. Right? So, you see people, right? See people tweeting it out. Taliban using newly acquired Black Hawk to hang people. But then you have people like this. Never thought I'd see the day where Taliban will be using an American helicopter to hang someone. Right? Now, that's what a lot of these people are saying. That they are just hanging this person from the bottom of the helicopter. Like they found an interpreter and they've tied a rope around his neck and kicked him out the door like, Scarface style. But I went to Twitter and I looked at the video, right? I pulled the video up and I wanted to watch it. Now let's watch this video, right? See this guy right here? He's swinging, right? He's dangling. Now watch the video again from the beginning. When it zooms in, right? We'll watch the zoom. Right there. You see his arm right there? I lost my mouse again. Damn it. You can see it again. Watch. When it comes in here, it zooms in. It zooms in. It zooms in. Right there. His arm is up. Right? Then it swings back around. Now his arm is down. Right? This guy doesn't look like he's somebody who's fighting for his life. Right? He looks like somebody who's dangling from a cord on the bottom of a helicopter. Right? Now, anybody who's been in the military knows that they have, these Black Hawks have a number of ways of letting soldiers out of them from the air. There are winches and, rappel ropes and all kinds of stuff that you can do out of a Black Hawk. That's why we use them to insert into hostile environments, because you can get in and out of them in a number of ways. So this, to me, looks like a Taliban soldier, or whatever you want to call him. A Taliban terrorist is what I'm going to call him. It looks like he's just dangling with a harness, because if you look right there, right, again, in the video, he right there as they're going down, it looks like he's lifting his leg and he's pulling at the harness, right? So like there's his arm is up, right? Then he turns his arm is down, and look how he lifts his leg, and you can see he's like kind of reaching in there trying to adjust the harness, like he's got it on wrong or whatever, because these guys don't know how to use all this equipment. They've never touched it before. They got their hands on it now. So, but no, this isn't a scene from Scarface, right? But with a person hung from it, right? So that the way they phrase it, the guy is not hanging by the neck. He's dangling, probably in a harness, or wrapped in that cord somehow. But he's not they're not killing him. They're not executing somebody right now, right? This looks like just some idiot who got out of the helicopter and was dangling from it. So, yeah. I just wanted to address that viral video. Like I said, it doesn't look like they're hanging somebody or executing somebody. It looks like this guy is actually in a harness and just hanging from the bottom of the Black Hawk, and that's why they're slowly lowering it down. Because if they ain't hung that guy, why would they care to lower it down? Why wouldn't they just fly around a little bit while longer and then cut him loose when they're done with him, right? It's a show of get everybody's attention and then let him fall. They didn't do that. They're lowering him down slowly, which means they probably don't want this guy to die, and he's probably, like I said, in a harness and just hanging from him. So it's not that he's hanging from the neck. It doesn't look like this doesn't look like an execution to me. I just wanted to say that now. It looks like he is in a harness, and it may not be on right or whatever, and he's trying to fiddle with it. So that's my thoughts on that video that's going viral, and that's what I think about the way they handled all this crap. I think the Biden administration is complete embarrassment, right? They're a complete embarrassment. This shows the world how weak we are. And you better watch out for China, because they're coming next. But if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video and the topic. I really want to know what you guys think about what's going on in Afghanistan, and what you think about how the Biden administration handled this whole thing. And if you think it was an incredible accomplishment that we evacuated all those people. Also, make sure to smash that like button. And I'm trying to change the URL of my channel to my channel name. So when you look up there in the search bar, it says Hide and Seek Media at the end instead of a bunch of crazy ass numbers and letters, right? Well, the only way YouTube's going to let me do that is if I get to 100 subscribers. And the best way for me to get to 100 subscribers is for all of you guys to hit that share button and share this video on all social media platforms. So do me a favor and smash that share button now and share this to all your social media platforms that you can. I appreciate you guys watching, and I surely appreciate everything you guys are doing. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.